In the bleak midwinter, under the pale glow of the moon, a beastly howl pierces the still night air. The werewolf, a creature shrouded in mystery and fear, prowls the shadowy corners of our imagination. But where did this chilling myth originate? And what is the curse that transforms man into monster? The tale begins in the ancient world, where the boundaries between man and beast were not as clearly defined. In the heart of ancient Greece, the legend of King Lycaon of Arcadia set the stage for the werewolf myth. As punishment for serving human flesh to Zeus, the king was transformed into a wolf. This tale, passed down through the ages, laid the foundation for the werewolf myth we know today. Fast forward to medieval Europe, where the werewolf myth took on a darker hue. Here, in the shadow of the witch trials, the werewolf became a symbol of the devil's influence, a scapegoat for the inexplicable horrors of life. People accused of lycanthropy were hunted down, their trials often ending in execution. The werewolf, once a cautionary tale, had evolved into a creature of sheer terror. The 18th century saw the pinnacle of werewolf hysteria in Europe. The Beast of Gevaudan, a large wolf-like creature, was said to have killed over 100 people. This reign of terror further ingrained the werewolf myth into the collective consciousness, cementing its place in folklore and superstition. But what of the curse itself? The transformation from man to beast, the agonizing metamorphosis under the light of the full moon. The origin of this particular aspect of the werewolf myth is difficult to pin down. Some trace it back to the ancient Greeks and their belief in divine punishment, while others link it to medieval superstitions about the devil and his power to corrupt the human form. The werewolf curse is often depicted as a contagion, spread through the bite of an existing werewolf. The cursed individual, once bitten, is doomed to transform into a beast at each full moon. This aspect of the myth taps into our primal fears of loss of control, of the beast within us all. In conclusion, the werewolf myth has evolved from ancient tales of divine punishment to medieval fears of devilish influence, and finally to the modern interpretation of the beast within. The werewolf curse, a chilling symbol of transformation and loss of control, remains a potent aspect of this enduring myth. As the moon rises and the howl echoes through the night, the werewolf continues to haunt our collective imagination, a chilling reminder of the thin line between man and beast. As the moon ascends in the obsidian sky, the forgotten abode shivers in the spectral light. Shadows twist and twirl, whispering tales of ancient curses, their dark forms painting grotesque pictures on the crumbling plaster. The air turns frosty, a chilling presence pervades, making the flames of the candles shudder and dance with a spectral glow. With a heart pounding like a war drum, I plunge into the cryptic depths of the haunted dwelling. Portraits lining the drafty hallway seem to observe my every move, their ghostly eyes gleaming with malevolence. Unseen voices echo through the corridor, their whispers intertwining with the groans of the aged floorboards beneath my stealthy steps. Upon reaching the crown of the grand staircase, an invisible weight descends upon my chest, making each breath a laborious struggle. The hallway extends into a ghostly tunnel, veiled in an unearthly fog that seeps from the moss-ridden stonework. The far-off cry of a spectral wolf reverberates, sending icy tendrils down my spine. The chamber of Obadiah lies at the end of the ominous passage, its door slightly ajar. With a trembling hand, I thrust it open to unveil a scene of chilling disquiet. The once luxurious four-poster bed now radiates a sense of foreboding. Tattered curtains sway in the phantom breeze that sweeps through the room, carrying with it the putrid scent of decay. Delving once again into the accursed tome, the apparition of the old man materializes, his form distorted by the capricious shadows. His desperate plea resounds, intertwining with the guttural growls that echo from unseen corners of the house. The air grows heavy with an impending catastrophe. Suddenly the room is consumed by darkness, and the spectral figure evaporates, leaving me alone with the ominous melody of claws scraping against time-worn wood. A pair of glowing eyes burn in the black abyss, their gaze locked onto me with an unnatural hunger. The nightmare, birthed by the curse, takes form, a monstrous embodiment of the werewolf that has plagued this cursed lineage for centuries. In the suffocating darkness, I stand frozen, trapped between reality and the supernatural as the malevolent entity draws nearer, its unseen claws dragging across the floor. The unholy union between the cursed abbey and the vengeful spirit has woven a tapestry of terror, and I am ensnared within its nightmarish threads. The howling wind outside escalates, joining the symphony of spectral whispers, and I am confronted with a choice that reverberates through the haunted corridors. Face the ancient evil or surrender to the eternal darkness that waits within the accursed walls. But just as I'm about to make my decision, the story is to be continued. Ever wondered what secrets the moonlit woods might be hiding? Well, let me take you to a remote village, nestled in the heart of dense, whispering woods. Here, under a full moon's glow, our tale begins with a local hunter named John. One fateful night, John returns home, his face as white as the moon that hangs above him. His wife, Mary, rushes to his side, her eyes wide with worry. "What's wrong, John?" she asks, her voice trembling. I saw something in the woods," he stammers, his hands shaking. "Something I can't explain." Their small cabin is filled with a tense silence. John's usually unshakable composure is shattered, replaced with a fear that seems to seep into the very walls of their home. "Was it a bear, John?" Mary whispers, trying to rationalize the situation. "It wasn't no bear, Mary," he insists, his voice barely audible. "It was something sinister." John's tale spreads throughout the village like wildfire. The villagers, hardened by the harsh realities of life in the wilderness, dismiss his story as nothing more than a bear sighting. Bears are common in these parts, they reason, and John's imagination must have played a trick on him in the moonlight, but John knows what he saw. He knows it was no bear. As the moon reaches its peak in the night sky, the village is still, save for the whispers of the trees and the distant hoot of an owl. But then it happens. A howl, unlike any other, ripples through the night, sending a shiver down the spine of every living creature that hears it. It's not a bear, nor a wolf. It's something more, something that sends chills down to one's very soul. And as the howl pierced the silent night, a cold dread washed over John. Have you ever heard of the curse of the blood moon? Our tale now takes us from the tranquil woods to the heart of a thriving metropolis, where the skyscrapers pierce the sky and the nights are never truly dark. Here we find Richard, a man of success and stature, but beneath that polished veneer, he's haunted by a recurring nightmare, the transformation into a monstrous beast under the blood moon's eerie glow. Enter Dr. Anderson, a voice of reason amidst the growing storm in Richard's mind. He's a seasoned therapist, adept at navigating the labyrinth of the human psyche. But even he finds himself challenged by Richard's vivid and terrifying dreams teetering on the edge of reality. As Richard pours out his fears in Dr. Anderson's office, the dialogue between them is a dance of anxiety and rationality. Richard's voice trembles as he speaks of the beast, its feral eyes mirroring his own, the blood moon looming ominously overhead. Dr. Anderson counters smoothly, attributing the nightmares to stress, the beast merely a manifestation of Richard's subconscious fears. Yet, as the day of the blood moon draws closer, Richard's anxiety escalates. He's caught in a vice of fear, his waking hours consumed by the dread of his impending transformation. His nights are filled with the beast's howls, echoing within the confines of his dreams, a sinister prelude to the horror that awaits. Then comes the night of the blood moon. The city, once a beacon of light, is now shrouded in an ominous crimson hue. When morning arrives, Richard wakes in an unfamiliar location, his clothes stained with blood. His heart pounds in his chest as he stumbles upon the chilling realization. His body bears no scratches, no signs of a fight. Yet, the blood is there, a stark reminder of the night's events. His nightmares, it seems, were not mere figments of his imagination, but prophetic visions of a terrifying reality. As the sun rose, Richard realized that his nightmares had crossed into reality. What if the beast you fear the most lives within you? A chilling thought, isn't it? In our narratives today, we've seen the lives of two seemingly ordinary individuals, John and Richard, unfold under the spectral light of the moon. Yet, there's an underlying thread that weaves their stories together. A suggestion, a whisper on the wind, that these men might be harboring a secret more profound than either of us could fathom. Picture this, the moonlight casting long shadows, a howl echoing in the distance, and there, lurking within, is the werewolf. Not a creature lurking in the woods, but one hidden under the skin of a man you might pass on the street. And this, my friends, is not the end. There are more stories to tell, more secrets to uncover. So next time the moon is full and you hear a distant howl, remember the stories of John and Richard. After all, You never know who might be hiding a werewolf within.